Here it is at last, the Helios Tarot forecast for the month, or Tarot Horoscope drawn specifically for your astrological zodiac sign. I'm B.R. Newman, in case you didn't know that already. Check out my website, iamhelios.com, through the link below, and consider everything that I have to offer there. Consider signing up to receive any number of the personal readings that I offer, or consider signing up to take a course. The choice is yours. There's a lot to explore there. Also consider checking out Annie Botticelli's Storyteller forecasts to see the astrological side of everything you're going to see here. It's fascinating, I promise. So, okay, I guess we'll just jump right into it.
So here it is, Pisces, your 5-card Helios spread for the month of October. This is a kind of condensed Golden Dawn spread, which uses 15 cards, but in this case we have 5. To the same effect, to the same result, we have a central theme, 2 dimensional timeline options you can choose from, a past section, and a fate section. In your central theme, that which most adequately embodies the general story arc of this whole tarot spread, is the Prince of Wands. Now, all of these court cards line up with the 16 Myers-Briggs personality profiles beautifully, perfectly, flawlessly. And of course, there are 16 court cards, 16 personality profiles. Not everyone is aware of this connection. Very few people know this or use this, though I find it quite obvious and very useful. So this Prince of Wands lines up with the ENTP, or the extroverted intuitive thinking perceiver. So this is an inventive person, somebody who is very excited to challenge themselves, and somebody who can see multiple sides of any point or philosophy in order to learn the most that they can about any given scenario or subject. So this is somebody who tests the limits of just about everything and anything they can, somebody very enthusiastic, and somebody who truly loves the game of life. So this is something that is being called forth, something that's being beckoned out of you, or this is an aspect of yourself that is automatically stepping into the light. This is not likely to be your general personality profile, considering Pisces, though you could very easily have very strong placements shifting you towards this. If that is the case, then lucky you, you're already operating from the operating system that you need to be to take full advantage of these 2 opportunities that are presenting themselves. And they are amazing opportunities. These 2-dimensional timelines are pretty significant. On the one hand, you have the Lust card, and this is one of the major arcana cards, so it's a heavy-hitting, high-gravity card that signifies a major milestone in your life, a point of significant transformation and growth. On the other hand, you have the 9 of Cups, which is a kind of blissful sense of fulfillment. So all 9s in the numerical minor arcana are associated with Sphirith 9 on the Tree of Life, which is known as Yesod. This is often talked about as a kind of engine room of creation, a force or a mechanism that's autonomously operating in the favor of some originating vision of yours. So as manifest through water, or cups in this case, this is a sense of complete happiness. So this is what you could consider the highest manifestation of water, before it becomes a bit too much in the 10 of Cups, before it becomes something that you could take advantage of or take for granted. So the 9 of Cups is still within that realm of deep appreciation. So this is essentially appreciating what you already have, appreciating close family ties, for example, and counting your blessings. So dynamically and actively and enthusiastically going about doing that, of course, as implied by the Prince of Wands. So celebration would be the idea here. Celebrating the blessings that have already been bestowed upon you, not only for the sake of enjoying the celebration for itself, of course, but in order to allow yourself the luxury and the comfort of knowing that you are fully appreciating it, so that if it isn't around forever, then you won't have to feel guilty, you won't have to look back and wish you had done things differently. So enthusiastically appreciate what you have is the idea of that dimensional timeline. Through the other dimensional timeline, we have themes of drastic change, mixing things up, and this has to do with taming the beast, taming the basic petty desires that drive a lot of us, and managing addictions, for example. So this is something that has to do with a greater level of growth, obviously, as I implied before. And so this is kind of like transcending addictions, becoming sober, for example, which is, of course, not to suggest that this is relevant to you, but this is one of the manifestations that one could expect to see here, choosing to transcend one's own addictive personality, something of that nature. And then what happens is that you find that in taming the beast, you then have somebody working for you. somebody who you can ride around, someone who you can count on, someone who can always be working in the favor of some originating vision. Sound familiar? Yes, it should, because this is pretty much the exact thing that's going on the other side, with that added component of transcending some limitation of yours. So this is clearly the higher route. So you can achieve the same kind of thing, which is of course to imply that some kind of opportunity is coming. On either of these dimensional timelines, you have the experience of happiness, of gaining some new power, some new engine room of creation, something that's going to be working for you or someone. So really it's up to you whether or not you choose to just appreciate how far you've come thus far, appreciate what you have, and celebrate that now, or you can actively choose to make something more of yourself, become more clear, become more authentic, and emphasize integrity, and shed the old patterns, the old philosophies, the old belief systems and psychological constructs that are no longer serving you. Just let those go, and then allow yourself to entertain the idea that you can handle it, that you can survive it, and that you'll be so much better off afterwards. You won't feel like there's a huge hole that used to be filled by this addiction. You'll feel that that hole is now filled, or it's like a position that has been filled by somebody who will be working for you. And that's the beast that's portrayed in the last card there. And that is just pretty much a mirror image of that engine room of creation in the Nine of Cups. So it's just more efficient, more profound, and it opens up more possibilities for you. Because it's a sentient being, you could say. It's a multi-minded, multi-faced, omnidimensional being working, to your greater glory. So let's consider where this is all going, so we can figure out why this is coming up right now, why it's all relevant, and what is the nature of the opportunity. So it's actually the Empress card in your Fate section. The Empress is pure yin energy, pure feminine energy. So she's maternal, she's nurturing, tender, compassionate, present, generous. So you're going to have the opportunity to step into that role. So with that being the given, what would you prefer to be doing? What would you prefer to be your perspective and your vantage point? Would you like to have managed your addictions, whatever they may be? We all have them. Would you like to have transcended that lower aspect of yourself when you get to that point, so you can fully be showing up for whoever it is, even if that's yourself? Maybe this is self-nurturing. It could be anything. It depends on you to figure out the specificity. This being a general reading applying to everyone who shares your sun sign. There's only so much I can supply in terms of specificity, so just consider this very cautiously. In what ways might you be stepping into that energy? You have an opportunity to really make a difference in someone's life coming up here pretty soon. So obviously the prerequisite to the highest expression of this Empress card would be outlined in your central theme, the Prince of Wands. So essentially just do this enthusiastically. And do this with the understanding that it's a kind of game. You don't have to take everything so seriously, and just give it your all. Whether this be celebrating what you already have, or just enthusiastically bettering yourself, enthusiastically shedding the systems that don't serve you anymore, conquering the beast within, conquering the addictions or the tempting inclinations to entertain aspects of yourself that aren't quite in line with who you truly are. This is all inspired by the Nine of Wands, the highest expression of fire before it burns itself out in the Ten of Wands. So this is the same as the Nine of Cups being the highest expression of water before it becomes too much. Here in your past section was the Nine of Wands, the highest expression of fire before it became too much. And so that manifests as inner strength and self-trust. So trusting the self from having developed and refined one's own capabilities from deep within. So the engine room of creation is actually a kind of skill set in this case. It's a kind of capacity to transcend obstacles, to conquer fears, to make miracles happen. So in the Nine you get very much in touch with that. You develop an intimate relationship with the engine room of creation within you that's always autonomously working in your favor. So that's what has given rise to this Prince of Wands in your central theme. So if you feel at all hesitant to embody this Prince of Wands energy that is the prerequisite for the opportunities that you have before you here, then just try to remember the ways in which you have developed already engine rooms of creation within yourself that are autonomously working in your favor. This can be anything. It's the evidence that such miracles are possible, the evidence that you can conquer your fears and tame that beast. Because very simply, you don't want a wild beast running rampant when you have this amazing opportunity to be this nurturing force for someone, whether that be yourself or whether that be an idea. Nurturing an idea, you have to very cautiously navigate the challenging terrain in bringing that out into the world, into actualization, and allowing it to flourish and blossom from within the very conditions that require it, the conditions that are not, very often entirely hospitable to the remedy. Sometimes a dark and dingy corner of your home just needs a houseplant, but you just have to know how to tend to it in those conditions. You have to be aware and in tune and really present and authentic. And in order to do that, you have to have that beast under control. And that is the only reason why I would consider the lust card the higher path of the two. Although one couldn't quite justify complaining about the Nine of Cups either. So there's every reason to be excited and to celebrate and be enthusiastic about the choices that you're making. And whether or not you choose to make this excitement, this enthusiasm, and this joy the forefront of your experience is entirely up to you.
And that about wraps this up for the month. So thank you for listening to this and for watching. Please do consider contacting me for a personal reading. We can take this so far and go so much deeper than we have here. It's pretty remarkable, really. You can gain so much, as many people have already. IamHelios.com is the website. I'm B.R. Newman. Thanks again.